everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the KVD Good Apple Full Coverage Serum Foundation. If you do want to see a review and a demo, then please keep watching. As a huge favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and comment anything down below. I greatly appreciate it. I read all the comments and I will do my best to reply back. This foundation retails for $42 on KVD Online, Ulta Beauty, and Sephora. I do want to read a little bit about this foundation on Ulta's website. KVD Beauty Good Apple Full Coverage Serum Foundation is a transfer-proof, extreme longwear foundation with a natural finish and a serum-light feel. You've never seen natural full coverage like this. The claims that KVD is making about this foundation is interesting. I also purchased the KVD Lock-It Pore-Refining Primer. This retails for $34 on KVD Online, Ulta Beauty, and Sephora. I do want to read a little bit about the primer on Ulta's website. KVD Lock-It Pore-Refining Primer maximizes makeup wear and minimizes the look of pores instantly and over time. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like for the primer. Up at the top it says KVD. Underneath that it says Lock-It. And then underneath that it says Pore-Refining Primer. You get 30 milliliters of product or 1 fluid ounces. On this side of the packaging it states it's vegan and it was made in Italy. On the back you have the list of ingredients. Across that you have the barcode printed. And then on the other side you have a little description. On the bottom it states it has a 6-month shelf life. And then up at the top there's nothing printed. Here's what the primer looks like. It comes in this squeezy tube. I like the packaging. It comes with a safety seal. I squeezed out a little bit too much of the primer, but that's fine. I'm trying to blend out the primer as best as I could. Formula feels kind of thick on the back of my hand. That's probably because I squeezed out a little bit too much. Here's what the primer looks like. Now let's see what the foundation looks like. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. Up at the top it says KVD. Underneath that it says Good Apple Full Coverage Serum Foundation. You get 30 milliliters of product or 1.01 fluid ounces. At the top you have the shade name printed. I purchased mine in the shade Tan 066. On this side of the packaging it states it's vegan and it was made in Italy. On the back you have the list of ingredients and it states to shake well. And then on the other side you have a little description. And then down at the bottom it states it has a 12-month shelf life. Here's what the foundation bottle looks like. It says KVD. And then here's what the back looks like. Down at the bottom it says Good Apple and then you have the shade name printed. Again, this is in the shade Tan 066. It comes with a pump. Let's see if this shade matches. It's a little bit runny on the back of my hand. I did remove the primer underneath. Tan 066 is described for medium to tan skin with cool undertones. Wow, a little bit goes a long way. I'm not sure if this shade would match. I'm going to apply the primer on one side of my face just to see how it wears throughout my day. I have a little bit on my fingertip. I just finished cleansing my skin. I don't have any moisturizer, primer, anything. It's freshly washed. So let's apply the primer on this side. Here's what the primer looks like on this side of my skin. I don't notice a huge difference, to be honest. My pores look exactly the same as it is on this side. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Maybe I didn't apply enough product on my skin. I don't want to apply too much of the primer because again, I want to see how the foundation wears on the skin. On this side of my face, I won't be applying any of the primer. I want to see how the foundation wears on bare skin. I'm going to do 1 pump of the foundation. The foundation oxidized. Here's what the foundation looks like freshly pumped, and then here's what it looks like dried down. It does dry down darker. Wow, this shade is spot on. It matches me perfectly. Taking whatever's left from the back of my hand, I'm going to apply it all over. Using a foundation brush, I'm going to blend it in. Here's what the foundation looks like paired with the primer. It's not full coverage with 1 drop. I will be applying more coverage. I'm noticing the primer is starting to pill up. I'm not sure if my camera's gonna pick it up, but I can see it. It's around the perimeter of my face. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. I'll apply 1 more drop to the center of my face. Taking my foundation brush, I'm gonna blend it in. Here's what 2 drops of the foundation looks like with the primer. I wouldn't consider this foundation to be full coverage. You can see my hyperpigmentation peeking through. Let's see what the foundation looks like on bare skin. I'll apply one big pump on the back of my arm. I'll dot it all over. Let's see what it looks like blended out using a dampened beauty blender. Here's what one layer of the foundation looks like blended out using my dampened beauty blender. Using a dampened beauty blender, it will shear out the foundation, but it'll give you a nice natural finish. I'm noticing I'm not getting any of that pillage like I did on the other side with the primer. Again, I'm gonna do one more big pump, that way we're all evened out. Here's what 2 layers of the foundation looks like blended out using a dampened beauty blender. 2 layers gave it a tiny bit more coverage. Again, on this side we have the dampened beauty blender side, and then on this side we have the brush side. I love the brush side. Let me know in the comments down below which side you prefer. Applying one more drop of the foundation on the back of my hand. Taking my damp beauty blender, I'm going to drag some on my neck. I'm going to leave the foundation as is. I'm not going to apply any setting powder or any setting spray. Again, I want to see how it wears throughout my day. I'm going to apply a little bit of mascara. This is from Maybelline. This is called the Falsies the Surreal Mascara. I don't have a new mascara to try out on camera with you guys, so when we get a new mascara, you know I will be testing it out. So far I like this mascara, but sometimes I get a little bit of clumps. I just have to go back in and use my fingers just to remove some of the clumpiness. For lips, I'm going to apply the NYX Fat Oil Lip Drip in the shade Scrolling. Here's one last look on what everything looks like. I will check back in at the end of the night to see how the foundation wears, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is the end of the night of me testing out the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. Here's how it wore throughout my day. I'm very oily at the end of the night. I did not get a chance to blot throughout my day, and we didn't set the foundation with any setting spray or any setting powder. My under eyes did end up creasing. I'm gonna look up so you can see. But again, that's because we didn't set the foundation with any setting powder. On this side, we have the primer and the foundation, which I don't notice a difference with my pores, to be honest. I feel like it looks exactly the same. I like how this side wore versus this side. I think the primer is kind of throwing me off. I have a blotting paper here. Let's see how much foundation comes off. Here's how much foundation came off on the blotting paper. Here's what my skin looks like after I blot it. Not too bad. Versus this side where, again, I'm extremely very shiny. My first impressions of the foundation is that I like how it wore throughout my day. It didn't break apart too much. While around my mouth it did end up breaking up just a tiny bit. I think a little bit on this side because I don't have any primer underneath. But it looks good on this side. So far so good. Tomorrow I will be applying the foundation with all of my makeup products on top, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is day 2 of me testing out the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. Today I'm going to be applying the foundation with all of my makeup products. I already primed and moisturized my skin. For moisturizer, I went in with the Belief True Cream Moisturizing Balm. And for primer, I applied the Cali Ray So Blown Primer. Now I'm going to apply the foundation all over. Using a foundation brush, I'm going to blend it in. Applying one more pump to my foundation brush, dragging that on my neck. Here's what one layer of the foundation looks like. I'm loving how the foundation is sitting on my skin with my moisturizer and primer. For concealer, I'm going to apply the KVD Good Apple Concealer in the shade Tan 161. I'm going to let that sit on my skin for a little bit while I fill in my eyebrows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is in the shade Neutral Brown. Using my damp beauty blender, I'm going to blend out the concealer. I'm going to set everything with my Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder. I'm going to apply a tiny bit more concealer, just where my hyperpigmentation is peeking through. I'm going to let that sit on my skin for a little bit while I apply bronzer. I'm going to be applying the MAC Skin Finish Sunstruck Bronzer in the shade Medium Matte Golden. back in using my beauty blender, I'm going to blend out the concealer and then setting it with setting powder. For blush, I'm going to be applying the Too Faced Cloud Crush blush in the shade Velvet Crush. I'm going to set everything with MAC Fix Plus. For mascara, I'm going to apply the L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara. For lips, I'm going to apply the Rare Beauty Tinted Lip Oil in the shade Honesty. Here's what everything looks like. I will check back in at the end of the night to see how everything wears, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is the end of the night of me testing out the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation with all of my makeup products. Here's how everything wore throughout the day. I loved how everything wore throughout my day. The only thing is that I look very orange. I noticed this when I went outside today. I went to pick up some groceries. I checked on my lip just to see how it would wear throughout the day, and I noticed that my foundation was very orange. I already put on my PJs on because I wanted to show you. I'm not sure if you can see, but on my neck, it's very orange compared to my actual skin tone. I'm surprised I didn't notice that yesterday. I will be testing out the foundation again. I might go back to Ulta and purchase a lighter shade. On KVD's website, they describe this shade as tan to cool undertone. I think I probably butchered that, but it's somewhere along that line. This is definitely a warm undertone. As for the lip oil, it completely faded. I noticed that after I ate, the stain was completely gone. My lips felt very dry. They still feel very dry at the end of the night. I didn't bother putting on a chapstick or a lip balm. Plus, the lip stain didn't last a long time. After I ate lunch, it was completely gone, and I didn't eat anything greasy. I just had a grilled salmon and some vegetables, so I don't know why they claim that this lip oil is long lasting, because it's not. Anyways, I will check back in with you guys tomorrow, and I will see you then. Hey guys, I went back to Ulta Beauty. I purchased the shade in Tan 063. Again, here's what the packaging looks like. And again, this is in the shade Tan 063. I'll do one pump on the back of my hand. Here's what the shade in Tan 063 looks like. This shade looks very light. Right next to it, I'll pump out the shade in Tan 066 so we can see what it looks like side by side. I'm going to use a clean finger. Here's what the shade in Tan 066 looks like, and here we have the shade in Tan 063. As you can see, there's a huge difference, but hopefully this shade dries down darker. I'm going to give it a good little shake, then I'll apply some all over. Using my foundation brush, I'm going to blend it in. Here's what one layer of the shade in Tan 063 looks like. I forgot to mention, on KVD's website, Tan 063 is described as tan skin with neutral peach undertones. This shade looks a little bit yellow. I'm not sure why they describe it as a neutral peach undertone. I won't be applying additional product on top. I want to see if this shade matches. Here's what both colors look like dried down. Now let's apply a fresh pump. Here's what one pump of the shade in Tan 063 looks like. Here's what it looks like dried down. As you can see, these oxidize quite a bit. Now let's do the shade in Tan 066. Here we have a fresh pump of the shade in Tan 066. Again, freshly swatched and then dried down. I'm going to quickly fill in my eyebrows with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is in the shade Neutral Brown. For mascara, I'm going to apply the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. For lips, I currently have on the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. I recently swatched the Rare Beauty lip oils. My lips feel so dry after that lip swatch video. That's why I have this lip sleeping mask on. If you have not seen my lip swatch review, I'll leave it right over here in the cards if you're interested. Here's one last look on what everything looks like. I will check back in at the end of the night to see how the shade in Tan 063 wears, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is the end of the night of me testing out the KVD Good Apple Foundation in the shade Tan 063. Here's how it wore throughout my day. This shade matches me perfectly. I have a blotting paper here. Let's see how much foundation comes off. Here's how much foundation came off on the blotting paper. Here's what my skin looks like after I blotted versus this side where I'm extremely shiny. I love how the foundation wore on its own. Tomorrow I will be applying the foundation with all of my makeup products, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is the next day. Today I'm going to be applying the shade in Tan 063 with all of my makeup products. I already moisturized my skin with the Believe True Cream Moisturizing Balm. I want to test out the KVD Pore-Refining Primer again. It did peel on me the first time I used it. Hopefully we'll have a different experience this time. Taking a little bit on the back of my hand. Applying it just where my pores are in my T-zone. I won't be applying it all over because I think that's where it started to pill. Maybe this primer is just meant for where my pores are instead of all over. The primer I'm going to be applying all over is from Caliray. This is called the So Blown Primer. I'm going to apply the Too Faced Hangover Primer on my neck. I think I've mentioned this before. The reason why I apply a hydrating primer on my neck is because I don't need a blurring primer. My neck needs moisture. It's starting to wrinkle. Now I'm going to apply the foundation shade in Tan 063. I'm going to shake this and then apply it all over. Using a foundation brush, I'm going to blend it in. Applying some on my neck. For concealer, I'm going to apply the KVD Good Apple Concealer in the shade Tan 161. I'm going to let the concealer sit while I fill in my eyebrows. For brows, I'm going to apply the e.l.f. Wow Brow in the shade Neutral Brown. Using a damp beauty blender, I'm going to blend out the concealer. I'm going to set everything with the Too Faced Peach Perfect Setting Powder. I'm going to apply a light layer of concealer once again, just to cover up my hyperpigmentation. For mascara, I'm going to apply the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. For bronzer, I'm going to apply the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Bronzer in the shade 350 Medium. Going back in using my damp beauty blender, I'm going to blend out the concealer. Taking a little bit more of the setting powder and setting the concealer. For blush, I'm going to apply the Too Faced Cloud Crush Blurring Blush in the shade Velvet Crush. That's a mouthful. This is my favorite shade from this collection. I'm going to set everything with the e.l.f. Stay All Night Micro Fine Setting Mist. Here's what everything looks like. I will check back in at the end of the night to see how the foundation wears, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is the end of the night of me testing out the KVD Good Apple Foundation in the shade Tan 63 with all of my makeup products. Here's how everything wore throughout my day. I love how the foundation wore. It did settle into my forehead wrinkle. I'm not sure if my camera's gonna pick it up. I don't like the Pore-Refining Primer. You can still see all of my pores. This did nothing for me. I have a blotting paper. Let's see how much of the foundation comes off. Here's how much foundation came off on the blotting paper. Here's what my skin looks like after I blotted, compared to the other side where I did not blot. So far, I like the shade in Tan 063. I will check back in towards the end of the week for my final thoughts, and I will see you then. Hey guys, it is the end of the week of me testing out the KVD Good Apple Serum Foundation. My final thoughts on this foundation is that I don't like it. I don't like how the foundation oxidizes. It's not full coverage in my opinion. You can build it up, but what I did notice is that after I applied a second layer, I did notice it settling into my smile lines and in my forehead lines. On KVD's website, they claim that this foundation is transfer proof. It's not. As you saw previously when I did my blotting test, you saw how much foundation came off on the blotting paper. The only thing I like about this foundation is the formula. I like how lightweight it feels on my skin. As for the KVD Pore-Refining Primer, I don't like it. It doesn't minimize the look of my pores. I currently have the primer on paired with the foundation in the shade Tan 063. Here's what the foundation looks like paired with the primer. You can still see my pores. For $34, this primer isn't worth it. The lipstick I currently have on is from e.l.f. This is their O Face lipstick in the shade Limitless. Let me know in the comments down below if you've tried this foundation. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.